Hi everyone, this is Julia with Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition. Today is the 22nd session actually, and I am super excited to introduce you an alumna of the last year Food and Climate Shaper bootcamps. So while she is joining the conversation, let me tell you a bit about these sessions. So we are hosting these sessions to introduce attended any of the educational programs organized by the Institute. And it can be the Food Innovation Master Program. Hi, Ivy. I just quickly finished the intro and then we can continue with you. So these sessions introduce alumni of the educational programs like the boot camps, what I just mentioned, the joint project with FAO and the Future Food Institute, then the Food Innovation Master programs and all the various summer courses what we have hosted so far. These conversations happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We try to always keep one evening and one morning session to cover all the globe because our alumni is obviously all around the world. And today I have Ivani Pauli dialing in from Brazil. And I encourage everyone, please post your questions if you have any in the chat. We will make sure that we answer them during the conversation. And otherwise, this is very casual. You will get to know Evie, and you will get to know her connection to the Institute and all of her journey in the world of food and climate shaping. So welcome, Evie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Yeah, thank you to Future Food Institute for this amazing opportunity for creating all of this networking and connections and to bring this space to talk about all these food issues that are so important always, but mostly now.
Yes, thank you so much. So basically, usually I ask you to tell your name and where are you based, but I already did the spoiler before, so sorry about this. So in this case, I will just start immediately with my question. Could you please tell the story? How did you end up on the boot camp last year?
It was very like a super serendipity. I was just coming back from California. I did live in California for almost 2 years, coming back in 2019. And just a month before the boot camps happened. And it was like the last day for the subscription for the boot camp. And I just like spent the entire night writing the application and getting the 1 minute video ready to be able to submit. And I was looking for transition in my career, not really a transition because like I grew up in this environment of caring about food and how food is grown and how important it is to have good food inside your body as you feel yourself with good stuff and you get good things back from your biochemistry, your physiology, and you build better health on that. And then I got my training. I am a bioscientist. I worked with biology, and I got my scientific training in molecular biology. Then I studied all of this. I was always like a food geek. I always wanted to know what that food I'm eating is doing inside of my body. That's because of the way I was grew up. Like my parents did care a lot about that. My aunts as well. They worked in the health sector. So I always was very interested in this, what food does inside of us. And in California, I got like my training in the biomolecular design. So the interactions between molecules for design of new pharmaceutical compounds. So for drug discovery, for Chagas disease, neglected tropical diseases mainly. And then always like this food thing just was there. I was always interested in that. And in California, I came to be good friends with the people from the microbiome laboratory at UCSD. And then I started to study the microbiome more. Again, I did like to study, but like to just to update my scientific knowledge on the microbiome. And then I took a permaculture design course just because I didn't have anything to do on the weekends. Then I just like make this connection about the human microbiome and how food is good for to build this environment in our gut to allow us to have healthy bacteria and then produce good things for our health, including mental health. And then on this PDC course, I took like the soil microbiome classes, and then I was just like, oh my God, like it's the same common ground, you know, like food that is produced in a way that is good for the body. It's amazing for the soil, and everything comes together. It's there. It's like food solves our health issues and solves many environmental issues. So I just like, okay, there's something there. And then I I started to look into more like in a more career transition. Then I was looking for other opportunities around food, and then I found out about the Future Food Institute, and I immediately got hooked on the bootcamp program. And I was like just making these connections inside and then with the soil. And then Future Food just showed there's so much more to food than only what happens inside of us, you know. It's just like it's food diplomacy. I got super interested in this topic, food security, and then and everything. It's just connected to what we eat, and we are 7.5 billion people on the planet, and everybody at least theoretically should eat 3 times a day. And it's a huge impact, and it's a huge and quick impact that we can do by just choosing the right things that we put inside of our bodies and
Definitely.
how we.
Yes. So you already told us a very diverse set of knowledge, experiences, everything. So before the boot camp last year, what was your daily routine? What did you do as a bioscientist? What would your normal day look like besides all the side activities what you just listed?
Right. Yeah. Normal day would be like just waking up, good breakfast, good food, always from CSAs, like from local grown produce. I always
For the audience, CSAs are community supported agriculture. So when you actually support a farmer and you buy together with a group of people to make the supply chain easier. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep
yeah.
the
Thank you. Thank you for that.
information.
Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, and after that, I just went for a quick run. Like living in California, you can have like amazing life quality, but I usually did exercise tomorrow in the morning, and then have a very good breakfast loaded with nutrients and stuff like that. Then went to the lab, worked all day there, reading papers, working in the experiments, and all of that, and yeah, and just like communicated with people, just searching the internet, what's new, you know, like it's like for me, it's very exciting stuff because like you are always up to date with what's brand new and the side of knowledge. And I was just like more and more hooked in what happens in the food chain, you know, and the microbiome and the nutrients and how all of these talks inside of us and also outside of us, just like you know, it's a lot to wrap your mind around.
Definitely. And just that I understand it correctly, working in a lab has a bit less human contact because you are doing a lot of things on your own or with the people who are working in the lab with you. But you don't necessarily go out and like it was not necessarily your daily work to be really much in contact with consumers and everything, right?
No, it's just like my consumption and my families and the friends that were around me. Like we
Yeah.
always talked about food because I always had like this my homemade food, you know, like the food I did for myself in the lab. We have very funny stories about that, and and I always had like my small supermarket in the lab, like with healthy snacks and stuff
Of
like
course.
that. Yeah, and that was always like a subject of conversation with friends and people in the lab too. So it always ended up like with these conversations. Yeah.
Very nice. So then afterwards you ended up on the boot camp and you went through this like transformational learning where you had like inspiration, aspiration, perspiration, and you got a lot of input. And then you also had some ideation and also how the relation to the sustainable development goals are with our actions in food. So what are your main takeaways from last year? And then maybe we can talk about a bit of a spoiler of the boot camps because Evie is actually one of our local hosts this year to make our digital boot camp starting next week even more diverse and have some insight in Brazil as well.
Super. Yeah, my big takeaways were like this integration of food and food habits and food production with the SDGs. I never thought in that way. I never saw that integration anywhere else. And I was like, this just did blow my mind. Like I was always already like making these connections. And when I saw like this with the SDGs and everything, it was just like, wow, we can do so much by just choosing the right things to eat.
Definitely. And so basically, after that, you moved back to Brazil. After many years being abroad, you decided to go back to your home country. So tell me, what are the projects, what you are busy with there right now?
Right now, I'm working with my sister on building a business that connects, that moves forward SDG 12, like responsible consumption and production. So making it easier for consumers to have access to products that are produced in a social responsible way, in an environmental responsible way, and also economically responsible way. So these three pillars of sustainability have to be taken into account. And working here also like with Thought for Food, where we look for innovations in the food system. Brazil is huge in agriculture, agri-tech, and we cannot live in this country without knowing about that and trying to make these systems more efficient as well and climate resilient and more sustainable and even regenerative. There are many things going on here, many initiatives that I will bring to the boot camps, to the local global discoveries, and amazing things people are already doing here. And just like to bring all of these stakeholders together to as in the boot camps, like to have all of these stakeholders together in the same room, talking to each other. I find it's just Future Food has an amazing talent to do that. It's great how it connects people. It's not ideologistic, you know, like it's just like it's an open conversation with every stakeholder in the food supply chain. So from consumers to companies, small companies, big companies, tech, everything, everybody is invited. So I'm just like glad you guys exist, and and as I can help, I'm here to do whatever to move these conversations and mindset forward.
Yes, I mean, definitely Future Food made that happen that we met each other, although yet
Yeah.
only digitally. But I am super happy to work with you together on these projects and excited to see that global discovery in a few weeks. So you spent the past few months also in Brazil, and let's be honest, the current situation there with COVID-19 is still a bit worrying. If you look at your consumption, because I know you already made a lot of conscious food choices before, But can you see maybe from your side or in your surrounding on other consumer side, any major changes in consumption over these past few months?
Right. Here at home, like particularly what we are doing, we are here. We used to go to the farmers market every Saturday morning. It was just like a thing in our family to go there because it's fun and it's one of the biggest farmers market with agroecological produce in the world. So it's huge. It's like many orders of people offering just as this amazing food and tasty and huge variety that you only get in warm countries. It's just like amazing the variety we have there. So and now from since the lockdowns, we have our CSAs here, and we get food from them. So using WhatsApp. So these people that used to sell at the farmers markets, they created they digitalized their produce and to people that are interested, and they bring it to your home. And this was like we are eating much less as well, cooking at home, less leftovers. Also looking to compost leftovers, because you realize how much leftovers there are because don't go out every day to dump it in the trash, right? So it's one of these things you realize, and you can be more conscious about that. And here in Brazil, what I see, like in general population, that happens more. Like more people are eating healthier. Like many people are doing, like getting food from these producers at delivered at home. Like because it's delivered at home, many more people are joining this kind of consumption. And a lot of online buying, online shopping, even like in the regular supermarkets. And in the small towns, it's more difficult to do that. But like here in the capital of the state, like this happens a lot. It's like mainly digital. It's everything through apps, through delivery apps and CSAs. And but still, a lot of people go to the supermarket, but like with much than before. It's like my more home cooking, more enjoying the time with family.
Yeah. So these farmers and producers who were selling on this big market, are they now doing it individually, this delivery, or did they group into like a group of producers and you can order from them together?
Yes, you can both ways. So some of them they still have managed a way to do the Saturday mornings market, but like with just like 1/3 of the producers, like very separate from each other, like circulating way less people. And some of them got together because there are so many. Like some of them got together based on location of their farms. They could get together to build the
logistics.
The logistics better and deliver from there. So there are people that are autosufficient, that have like a bigger variety of things, and others that got together because they don't have like the entire like less variety to offer. But like as we see, like in the beginning, there was way more people just like working alone, and now these groups are forming themselves, like, and even yeah, and even they have like industrialized products which are produced like in an organic way and agroecological way. So they add these extra products too. So it's becoming very convenient for us.
Yeah, I mean, definitely convenience and safety in the current time is very important. But I think what for the consumers, it's very important to understand that all these producers who managed to go to the market once a week on Saturday, that was one ride for them and serving plenty of customers. Now when they have to drive directly to each household, that's way more intense in terms of logistics, labor, and a lot of resources. So I think I really hope that this was also a time for consumers to understand what all goes into getting that produce on our table. It's not only how it is grown, it's all the labor around it and all the way what it makes to make it so convenient for us, right? So maybe sometimes this sacrificing on that convenience will actually help consumers to get access to certain food what would be more beneficial for their own health and the health of our planet.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we talked about almost everything now what I had on my list. So let's talk a bit about the boot camps, because the boot camps are actually designed for almost everyone. I would even say, like, learning from my experience when we did the Food Innovation Master Program, we had such a diverse group of students coming from the background of engineering, but we also had a lawyer. So not necessarily someone who is active or have been active in the food industry. What is very important that all of us, disregarding our background, our studies, have at least one connection to food, which is consumption. And with that, we have a way to actually contribute or vote for a better system. So if you would need to tell someone who is not in our industry, what are these boot camps about, and why, like, what could they learn from it if they would apply? What would you say?
It's just like this understanding of connecting the dots. It's just like to see what impact one decision in one part of the scheme has in the entire chain. That everything is connected and nothing. It's like one decision. It's not one single decision. It's going to affect the entire chain of the food supply. And yeah, it's amazing to understand, even if you are not in the food industry or you're not intended to work with food. And it's just mind changing, the way of thinking and the way you interpret the world and your own reality.
Definitely. I actually, last Thursday, I interviewed Mickey, who was one of the youngest participants of the New York boot camp. And then I asked him at the end of the conversation, so you all signed for a pledge. What will be your action? However small it is, it doesn't matter, but what will be that action what will contribute to a better future for us? Can you remember what your pledge was last year?
My pledge was to act on 17, like to build the connections for the partnerships. So this is what I'm doing here, like working first of all in getting the networking here in Brazil to get to know people that are working in the food industry, and sustainability and agricultural technology and all of that, and just like getting to know them and know what they are doing, what plans do they have for the future, and like how can we get together to achieve what the Earth needs now, right? To even guarantee that we will have a future to begin with, and then make it possible first, and then perfect. Yeah, just like make it possible first.
That's perfect. I mean, you are a perfect example. You went to the course, you made a goal for yourself, and now you're working on it. It's amazing. And your pledge actually leads us to the point that how important it is for us to finally shift from a competitive mindset or competitive environment towards like cooperation or competition, when all those players who are connected to each other, they can actually work together to achieve a common goal. So I think that's also very important to finally talk about this and actually have the future leaders who will act this way. So now, because we are really approaching the end of our conversation, I always close with the final question. If you could describe in a few words, how would your preferred food future look like?
First of all, that people see the connections that what you eat every day, how it affects your health and how it affects everything around you, like in like socially, health wise, and environmentally wise, because it's not only our own health that is influenced by our choices, and also like this cooperation, you know, like we all need to eat at the end of the day, and it's one thing that unites us. It's the one common language that everybody knows what we are talking about when we talk about food. Everybody eats, everybody needs food, and like if we get a consensus on how is the possible way to for everyone to try, for us not to have like obese people and unhealthy people, and at the same time people that are starving because there is no food at all, and a lot of food is wasted at the same time. Everything happens at the same time, which is crazy, and it should not be like that. And just like people getting together and really solving these issues.
Definitely. That sounds like a great plan. I would like to be part of this future. Yes. Ivi, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the audience for being here. If you joined us a bit later, then you will find this conversation on IGTV right after we finish. And if you have any questions, what you were too shy to ask in the chat, please feel free to direct message us or directly Ivi, and we will make sure to connect. Oh, there we go. We have a question actually. Once, what do you think about bio-fortified food when talk about the future of food? All right, Evie, that's a final question for you.
Biofortified, I think we need to work on the health of the soil. So we need to work on that. And soil, it's a huge carbon sequestration mechanism, and it is responsible for us to have nutritious food. And like biofortification, I don't know if he's referring to chemical fortification, or like composting. So maybe like I'll take the composting part, and just transforming food waste again in soil, and put this cycle, you know, like make this circularity going on with the soil and the food waste, and biofortification, and produce healthy food for all of us, and carbon sequestration all at the same time. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. Samuele, I hope that this was a satisfying answer for your question. And now I would close our conversation. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. As I mentioned, we are starting our digital bootcamp next Monday, which is obviously for the students who signed up. But as a sneak peek, we might have some of the sessions broadcasted live. So keep an eye on the channel, and maybe you can also hear some of the insights and learnings from the bootcamps. Thank you, Ivy. Have a lovely day.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.